Good day. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 2 of Tavern Talk. My name's Ryan.
My name's Victor.
And we are here to talk about stuff. No, there's no script. So, one of the things that we're getting past Coronation now, and people have, their stomachs are finally not full, which is awesome. And the stories have been written. So those who have written stories, usually it's a week after an event. There's more incentive that the chapter will give or LarpCraft will give. If you write your story within a week, usually you remember most of it. Every week past that, details start to get fuzzier and fuzzier. So that's why we encourage players to write their characters' information right afterward. So sometimes you can do it like how I did it, where I put in kind of narrative of overall of the event, and then dog drinking water. It's live, not.
Oh,
It's just
done
to
me.
So we got the narrative, and then our tenant wrote, basically his rejuvenized love for his deity, his country, blah, 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 because this type of an event took him out of despair. So it was for my character, it was very, it got him back into the paladin, basically, is what it did. He was drifting, where he was drinking more and fighting less and not caring as much, and then this kind of brought him back on track. So that was kind of cool. It was a way to relive the paladin-y side of things. And then you wrote your character story.
Yes.
You had to explain your character. So this one was a little bit longer for you because this is your first event.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your story.
So with my character, I kind of wanted to introduce him as his first big post, you know. So I gave a little bit of the backstory. He was a sailor of some kind. He doesn't really remember when. He knows his ship was attacked, and he knew that he was coming to Norhaven, but he doesn't remember if it was as a friend or as a foe, or why his ship was even out there. His ship was attacked. He was washed up on shore. All he had was a gauntlet, a necklace, which I'm not currently wearing, and a massive sword that most people probably wouldn't be carrying around out in the middle of the sea. And it talks a little bit about how he went from the shoreline into the land. He heard about the coronation, and he went there to, if all the people from around the land are going to be there, if he can find out about this ship and why it was out there, it would be there.
Right.
And then he ran into a friendly, alcohol-loving paladin and a not as quiet as some may swear dwarven cleric.
Yeah, he was going against the grain on that whole gambling deity conflict kind of thing. We're not going to say much about that because we're going to wait for him to write his story.
Yes.
But the using amnesia, now that's something if you're just starting a character, using forgetfulness in the gaps of where you don't know your parts of the story yet, that's really a good idea. You can fill in those gaps then later on as you develop your character. You go to a few games, you go to a few role plays, you go to a few practices, you jump onto the forums and do a few role plays in the scrolls. Just give yourself a little bit of time to flesh out that story. A lot of times what people do is they'll come in with a full-on story, and it totally doesn't make sense because in Miriam, a lot of that stuff doesn't exist. People talk about angels and demons and all that stuff, and I always write a conflict to that because I'm like, what is an angel? Angels aren't defined. What deity are they from? You can't use common Earth lore because this is not Earth. So demons are the exact same way. People mention evil and deities and all that stuff, and it's like, what is evil? We don't even technically define evil yet in Miriam.
Right.
So what things have the bad guys done to become evil, and what are the good guys doing that makes them righteous? So these are things that are developed through the games, through the character stories, and all that stuff. So,
And that's why I chose a fragment, not so much amnesia, but like fragmented. Like he remembers he was a warrior, he remembers he was sailing, and then I can go back and on the forums use the island. I can't think of the name.
Haloria?
I can use Haloria to help fill in a backstory for him and introduce it.
Well, we kind of changed that. So Haloria is no longer going to be an island within Miriam. It's going to actually be the history. So everything until the current age would be Hiloria for Miriam.
Right.
So instead of making it an island, like you can't play Hiloria as your current character.
Okay.
It'll be all your ancestors that'll be in
Right,
Hiloria.
but it'll give him a
Yeah,
pass, something that I
yes.
can build on and be like, well, I'm going after my family's honor or something
Yeah.
like that as I decide to flesh it out.
Right. So, yes, that's basically how we're going to do Hiloria. And it's already in the scrolls. You can actually go into LarpCraft.com. On the bottom of the main page, Hiloria is already written. You can create your own Hiloria character by just simply creating a new character for that, your ancestral characters. And then they're broken down into the ages. So it follows the Miriam world lore, and now we're just going to develop it as our characters. So it gives players a very fresh perspective because they're actually doing it themselves. They are actually writing the lore for the game through Hiloria. So we have that. Cooked up a whole bunch of bacon before I came here. We're going to be doing some leather
That's
crafting.
what that smell was.
And no better way to get people over to help you tool leather than with bacon. So I posted it on there. I'm like, oh, I got bacon. Oh, and I put the pictures of the bacon and stuff. Had a lot of grease left over. I'm like, I wonder if we can make a bacon candle. So I looked online. I'm like, bacon's got a really low melting point for the grease or the bacon. But lo and behold, there was a tutorial. There was a way to do it. And here's our first bacon candle.
Does it taste like bacon?
I don't know, but it smells good. So we got, it's like sea salt, driftwood, and bacon. The grease is then melted down, filtered, and mixed with regular wax to give it a higher melting point. So we're going to see if it works. Made a tutorial for it. We're going to post it in the blogs within LarpCraft. So, bacon candles.
Sea salt, driftwood, and bacon. You hit Nestus on 3 heads there as a shipwrecked sailor.
Sure, look at that. It's a.
You're calling me home.
That's right. Remember the smells.
Does this trigger anything for you?
Yes. So Victor, new to LARP, not so much new to gaming.
No.
And you wanted to start making some of your own leather gear.
Yeah.
So tell us about this gauntlet. Let's define this a little bit. You might have to hold it up a little bit to the camera.
So, this is a gauntlet that is not my original design. It was based on, it's a YouTube tutorial. I cannot think of the gentleman's name. He is a book author. He has really good books. He did this as a promotion for his books to be done in brass plating, 18 gauge metal.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, I'm not one for plate mail. I wonder what this would be like in leather.
Sure.
It's more freeing and whatnot. But so I downloaded his design, awesome designs, and just kind of applied it in my own way. Now, unfortunately, where we're at, leather is not easy to come by.
Oh, yeah. We're in the middle of eastern Wisconsin. We don't have any real good leather sources. We have to go an hour south to Tandy Leather or some of the others. So
Yeah.
we're still sourcing a lot of that stuff.
So I went to the local craft store, Joann's, and they just happened by luck to have one bag of all the same color leather.
Oh.
And I took and followed his template. I changed the knuckle plate up a little bit, made my own van brace, which everything just happened to work out with one bag. Pure luck. And I followed his pattern. Overall, I'm happy with it as a design.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's cheap. I would never go into a LARP combat with it.
Right. It's not the minimum ounce.
No,
We
I
need
do
8 ounce.
believe when I checked it, once I learned how to check the thickness, this is only 3 ounce leather.
Okay. And we need 8 ounce to call it as armor in the Myths and Legends system. So, but it's a great.
But it's decorative.
It's a talking piece for sure. It taught you how to. It's almost like doing it in a cardboard one, but as you're learning, this is the cheapest way to try patterns out.
And I found out that the most expensive part about getting into this is acquiring the tools.
Yeah.
As far as material cost, I'm out a gardener glove, a $10 bag of scrap, and $2 worth of paper rivets.
Right. So, and it got a lot of comments at the game.
Yeah,
We got it out, and people were like, "Whoa, that's cool!"
Yeah.
You don't often see leather gauntlets that articulate like that. So, it has. I got strong hopes that you're going to be able to make quite a few of those.
I'm looking forward to it with a whole bunch of different designs. I'd like to have different knuckle plates. I'm tooling around with ideas for one that looks like a solid pieces of wood.
Sure.
All kinds of things. I can't wait.
Cool. So, LARP. Live action roleplay introduces you to so many different things. Baking candles, gauntlets. I mean, there's just no end to what this thing teaches you. And, you want to do some, making your own metal stuff. Oh, okay, now you're going to learn blacksmithing. You're going to learn it, and then that's how it goes. There's support groups within LarpCraft and through other reenactment area groups that will teach you how to do these things. And, these are communities wanting to work with other people in that community. So, just some really fascinating stuff. And then what we're doing is we're putting up these tutorials on LarpCraft. So if you go to larpcraft.com and you click on the community section, there's a little menu that drops down. Click on community, and then there's a category menu for all of the different types of communities. So there's some in-game groups, most out-of-game groups. So from food recipes to tooling, and I got the blacksmith one ready to come up, ready to put up. So I'm just checking with a few armors and such to finish that. Tailoring. Yeah, we got
Dresses,
the medieval clothing one is up.
Yep.
The makeup one is up. We got makeup, and it's actually subcategorized by different types of races, and then some general stuff for
lots of good information on that.
Prosthetics and. Yeah, so I mean, we got some like airbrush stuff that we have to do with Pro Air yet. They gave us some stuff to do airbrushing, because what we're trying to do is come up with a very fast way to do lots of character paint without it coming off. So your orcs, your vampires, your undead, things that are heavy on makeup that you got to be able to put on. Basically throw the generator in the truck, throw the air compressor in the truck, and have basically a painting area, basically. So we can do a lot of characters really, really quickly when it comes to the paint stuff. That may be something we're gonna play with. We have the tools to do it.
Just have to.
It's just let's see if it would work at a game or not.
And get people who can do it.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident I can do it. Kelder can do it. I'm sure you're an artist. You can. We'll Forrest Gump our way through it for you and be like, here, try this. We'll follow this tutorial. We'll try it next time.
Cover the eye.
Yeah. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on. Lots of stories being written. And what a lot of people also don't realize is when you make stories in the in-game section, the posts are worth more experience.
Yeah.
It's the only part of the forums where you can actually, when you write something, it's an XP per word up to 250 XP per day. So you can really hammer out quite a bit of XP. And I know our Australian chapters are like every day. It's new stories every day.
It's like reading a graphic novel.
It is.
They have a great story if you follow it from beginning to end. I'm hooked into it.
Yeah. So they're doing a really good job. I'm hoping to get the rest of our chapters going. We have new chapters coming on board. We have one in Minnesota, one in Illinois, 2 in Missouri, and we're bringing back one from Virginia now that they have more players and more people to help them. So once again, LarpCraft is going to be bringing on chapters, and we're making a new area within LARP. There's two new areas. One is going to be the link directory. So there's all this stuff on LarpCraft. It's a lot. If there's just a link directory that tells you, okay, Victor might have his own Facebook page for his leather stuff and his own community within LarpCraft. And so basically, whatever his stuff is, it'll be in the link directory, and then all the stuff will be together. But that way you can still find it all. So that's what we're working on right now. The second part is an area for bringing on new chapters and hosts. So we have our elders communities, we have our all that stuff we do for the admin side. But what we don't have is a step-by-step process for starting a new chapter and giving chapters the right tools to make them successful. So we want to be able to encourage you to how to make events, start with just practices. We could just start this with no gear. how to do it on a shoestring budget to start with emphasis on going past that. So while hosting chapters isn't right for everybody, we want to give people the right tools to see them succeed, because we've done this through multiple years, enough years to see what works and what doesn't. So we'll give you the tools that we know work throughout the 7 years we've been doing this, along with others who have also been doing it. So LarpCraft is a community of gamers and admins who work together to create better games.
And as someone who's coming into this, I've never LARPed before this. I had no idea. At the Coronation event, I had the gauntlet, and that was it. And I didn't feel left out. I didn't feel excluded or nothing. It was amazing. Everyone is completely and truly welcome, and just glad to have people there to have fun and enjoy the atmosphere.
Yeah, and we don't touch on that enough. We probably should, but newcomers are definitely welcome. A lot of times we have garb and stuff for them, whether to borrow or buy. We had vendors at this event.
Yes, we did.
Most games do have some sort of vending, whether it be local artisans or manufactured stuff that dealers bring in. But there's a way to support the user group is what we're getting at. So whether you design it yourself or sell whatever other people make, it goes to support the industry. So that is about a 15-minute Tavern talk. So we're going to get working on some leather, making some tutorials for you, and we'll post them on LarpCraft.
We'll try not to eat the candle, but if we do, we'll let you know how it tastes.
That's good. Okay. Bye.